with a ton of help, you could say, from his allies on the pro-DeSantis super PAC, Never Back Down, reportedly expects to have a whopping $200 million budget.
All right, well, he may have the dollars, but he'll definitely have to face the elephant in the room, so to speak, the clear frontrunner in the race, former President Donald Trump, who says that DeSantis needs a personality transplant. Our Miami correspondent Leonardo Feldman has the latest on the battle between DeSantis and Trump. Leo.
The battle for the Republican presidential nomination heats up after Florida Governor Ron DeSantis enters the race via Twitter Spaces.
Well, I am running for president of the United States to lead our great American comeback.
The first 20 minutes or so were plagued by glitches, prompting former President Donald Trump to post this video on Truth Social. Trump also posted this. Whoa, the DeSantis Twitter launch is a disaster. His whole campaign will be a disaster. Watch. Meanwhile, DeSantis is framing the Twitter Spaces glitch another way.
We announced that on Twitter Spaces earlier tonight, and it broke the internet because so many people were excited about being on that Twitter Space.
And despite numerous attacks from Trump, DeSantis focused on his record during his announcement rather than attacking the former president. He will be heading to 12 cities and towns in 3 early states next week. Back to you.
All right, Leonardo Feldman, thank you. And joining us with their thoughts, Colonel in the U.S. Air Force Reserves and host of the Doug Collins podcast, former Georgia Congressman Doug Collins, plus political analyst Mark Halperin. Mark, great to have both of you with us, but I'm going to start with you. Your reaction to Leo's report regarding DeSantis. How do you think he's going to fare, I would say, even in terms of battling, so to speak, the former president?
Well, no one's done it successfully within the Republican Party. In 2016, that's the one time Donald Trump had contested combat like this. He mowed down more than a dozen folks. There's reasons to think Ron DeSantis will be stronger. His style is pretty tough, and he's shown a fearlessness so far. And he's going to be well-funded, so he doesn't have to worry about the money disappearing if he fails. And he's got a solid number 2 slot. But there's reasons to be skeptical. And there's some who say Donald Trump's going after DeSantis hard now because he's worried. I get the sense it's more that's just the style of Donald Trump. He goes after the thing that's in his way, potentially, if not actually.
Yeah, if he's not talking about you, Doug, he's not worried about you, right?
Yeah, look, I mean, Donald Trump's really, I mean, frankly, to think worried about most anything, not really. I mean, just look at his life history here. I think he goes at campaigns like most people go after, you know, their favorite passion, their sports. He goes after it full steam. And Ron DeSantis is feeling the full brunt force of Donald Trump's campaign machine. I've said this before, and Mark, I think, has mentioned this before. Also, this is the first time, and it has been over the past few months, but now it'll be, you know, for real, if you would, of Ron DeSantis getting a national vetting, and something that he did not have to do as a governor running. And Donald Trump, of course, has been on that stage for a long time and bringing out stuff. And last night, if there's any indication of the emails and social media posts, they're not going to let up. And DeSantis at some point is going to have to answer it and just simply not be the quiet, well, I'm going to do a better job, and we'll see how we can beat the Donald Trump as we go forward.
And I want to move on to this. According to Quinnipiac, a poll, more college-educated voters would vote for Trump over DeSantis. We've been seeing this trend, of course. Anything there specifically, though, Mark, that stands out to you?
Well, when you've got a 30-point lead, you're going to be winning with every group, right? So the fact that he's winning with college-educated voters, where he typically does worse within the context of the party and nationally, shows the breadth of his lead. And this is the challenge for Ron DeSantis. I'm not with him very often, but I can tell you just from knowing about his world, he's getting advice every day, particularly from donors. Republican donors are brilliant political strategists in their own minds. And they're telling him, here's how to run against Trump. Here's the message you should have. And the real challenge for him is he needs a message that's authentic to him. Every Republican will tell you, every strategist will tell you that's what you need. But what's the message that actually unlocks enough vote to cut a 30-point lead? 30-point lead, you know, maybe Alabama against Auburn, they could make up 30 points, but 30 points is a lot to make up.
Yeah, it is, Doug. So I think Mark really hits on an important thing. You're not using this word, but I often use it, branding. Like, who is he? Who is Ron DeSantis? And Doug, he tries to run or he appears to try to run on what is considered an excellent gubernatorial experience. He's been in the military, obviously well respected for that, but then kind of a botched rollout. There's been some missteps in Florida itself. And if he wants to run as a leader and as the competent guy that can show you how to do it, and he's not going to make enemies, he's not doing well with that brand.
Well, and I think you're right here. Mark hit on something that I'm going to take it a step further. I think the competency issue, the things that conservative policies in Florida have been well liked. But there's also a factor that I've talked to a lot of people about Donald Trump who may or may not like his tweets, they may not, but they like the guy. They just tend to like the way he handles it himself, especially some of these voters. And the one thing about, I served with Ron DeSantis, sat next to him for 6 years in Congress. I mean, Ron is a capable person. He's got good ideas. But he's got to find that moment when people say, hey, I want to go, as the old saying goes, I want to go have an iced tea or a beer with him. I want to go. I think he understands me. And the problem that's coming across right now is he doesn't like to deal with the media. Most politicians, they have to learn to live with it. He doesn't live with it as well. He's not doing a live sort of kickoff with this. He doesn't do events in which you see him interacting with people as much. That sets him apart from, say, a Tim Scott or a Donald Trump or others that is going to be vital if he's going to overcome this deficit.
People want a president to be kind of a host, right?
Yes.
And what Ron DeSantis is up against is a guy who's literally been a host. He's the host at Mar-a-Lago. If you've ever been there for dinner, he wants every guest to have a good time. And he was the host of a popular television show for a very long time. Yep. That talent, that personality is something that serves Donald Trump well. It does not seem to exist in Ron DeSantis.
And immediately, and I think, Doug, you were in the room many months ago among some other Republican bigwigs like yourself, and you were talking about the personality as the thing that people wonder, how well will it wear over time?
It will. You've got to be likable. And I think that's the next kind of candidate. It can't be your family. It can't be, you've got to be likable. Mark hit it well, a host in this. And I think that's going to be the biggest obstacle for DeSantis as we go forward. Money can't buy that. That's not a quality money buys.
Yeah, no, it's true. So you can't learn charisma. Either you have it or you don't.
Let him host a pilot episode of The Apprentice.
There you go. There you go. All right. Doug Collins, Mark Halperin, always great having you both. Thank you.
Take care.
See y'all.